Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about The Batman, and this movie is directed by Matt Reeves and it stars Robert Pattinson and it has a big cast. I'm just going to skip over that. And I thought this movie was decent. I know a lot of people really love it or kind of hate it. There are some people who hate this movie. I enjoyed it. I think that if I were in love with the story and presentation of everything, then I would have gotten more out of it. But what it is basically the story of this movie is basically a mix between a lot of David Fincher movies, mainly Seven and Zodiac. And I love those movies, and there's a little bit of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo thrown in there. There's like a couple scenes that reminded me of that, and it also reminded me of Saw in a couple scenes and other Batman movies that have come out. While this movie does work as a standalone film, unfortunately, it doesn't really have all of the elements that made all of those movies work as well as they did. And I'll just go through my positives. I think the acting was really good. I think Robert Pattinson is great as Batman, and Bruce Wayne, I think he did a great job. And I liked how Gotham City was portrayed. It's pretty much like the worst place you could live in. And I really liked how Gotham City looked, and just the setting of the film was well established. And Colin Farrell as the Penguin, he's not in it a whole lot, but he's great. I thought he was one of the best parts of the movie when he was on screen. The movie looked nice. There were some cool shots in this movie that are sticking out in my head. And now on to my negatives. What really let me down about this movie is that while the acting is really good, it's just that the characters in this movie are not as strong as I would like. And the weakest element of the movie for me is that I just didn't care all that much, and mostly because I don't really care about Bruce Wayne as a character in this movie. And this movie mostly gives you Batman. Robert Pattinson is mostly in the Batman suit in this movie, and it's mostly just like him fighting crime, and well, not fighting crime, him being a detective, and it's more of a detective story than anything else. And that's why I brought up Seven, because this movie is very reminiscent of Seven and Zodiac, like I mentioned already. And it was a different take to have it more just Bruce Wayne in the Batman suit than Bruce Wayne out of the Batman suit. But where I take issue with that is that it kind of makes it difficult for me to care about Bruce Wayne as a character, because you're just watching the superhero, and the superhero is just what you know about him, like from all the previous movies that have come before this. And what I mean by that is all of the different adaptations or interpretations of the character that have happened before. And that's most of what you know about the character and what you can get attached to. And the movie does give you a little something that makes him interesting, but that's not until like at least halfway into the movie. And for most of it, I was just waiting to care about something. And I appreciated elements technically. On a technical level, I thought it was a good movie, but when it comes to an emotional connection, it just didn't connect with me. And I was entertained, but I wished that there was something that had me emotionally engaged, like the Dark Knight trilogy or even Tim Burton's Batman, where there's a reason for me to get invested in what is going on. In this movie, that's not really the case, unfortunately. And I do want to bring this up really quickly. A lot of people complain that sometimes if a character is poorly written, they blame the actor for it. Here, I don't think it's the case. I feel as though some people confuse bad performance and bad character and kind of mix them together as one thing. Here, it's two separate cases. A great performance with a not very interesting main character is what I got from it. The music in this movie I thought was fine. nothing really memorable to me. It was just there, and it kind of grew on me as the movie went along, but it's nothing memorable to me. I guess I'll just mention the villain of the movie really quickly. The Riddler, without spoiling anything, I thought he was fine. He never made me feel like he was an intimidating threat, but I wasn't cringing ever, so he was just fine in the end. There's some really bad dialogue in this movie, and most of that is just cliche dialogue, like, "You're not my father," or "You and I are not so different." And just really annoying lines like that really bugged me throughout the movie. I mean, they're not in every scene in the movie, but when they do happen, it is really annoying, and the movie does get pretty predictable at points, and this is a kind of a nitpick, and I understand that Batman's gadgets weren't really a focus in this movie, but I do have to mention this, that whenever the movie showed his gadgets, sometimes I thought it was a little too goofy. Like, when he was using his grappling hook, like, that was fine. I thought that was cool, and I liked Batman's suit. But there's a scene in this movie where he flies, like, in any Batman movie, he uses his cape to, like, help glide him down. But in this movie, he, like, zips on, like, a wingsuit and, like, flies down and then pulls a parachute. And I thought that looked so goofy. And it kind of brings into question, what's the point of wearing a cape anymore if you're not going to use it? Is it just a stylistic choice? And also, the Batmobile looked just like a Hot Wheels car to me. And it was kind of difficult to take seriously. One thing that I did like about this movie is that Batman is not an invincible character. His suit is bulletproof, but whenever he's fighting hand-to-hand combat with other characters in this movie, he constantly makes mistakes and gets hit, and you feel as though he's inexperienced, or not perfect. Like, he can get killed at any point. And that's one thing that I liked about the movie. And that's about all I have to say about The Batman. I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. It didn't impact me as much as many other Batman movies that I've reviewed on my channel already. I like it about as much as Batman Returns, if not a little bit less. And that's all I can really say about it. It's better than the Joel Schumacher movies, but worse than everything else, or at least the live-action Batman movies that I've seen and reviewed on my channel. So check this movie out if you want. I would recommend it. Would I personally rewatch it? Maybe one day, but that's about it. It was well made. It did everything that it wanted to. And I'm glad that a lot of people love it. And I enjoyed it too. But I just don't love it as much as many other people do, as I said many times already. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Batman a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Batman, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Spider-Man 3, so look forward to that. But until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.